Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've shown you my weekly flowers, so these are the ones that I got last week, roses and stocks. Absolutely beautiful flowers. And I found a few interesting items in Waitrose. This is something that's quite good, chocolate chips mix. I don't really have a plan for these, but I liked how they looked, and it said that they are bake stable, so if I use them inside cakes they should stay as they are and not just melt into a hideous mess. So that's quite interesting. Almond croissant, a little treat. And I had to buy more of this vanilla extract. I have a different vanilla extract, but in my view this one is the best, so I treated myself to that. Freeze-dried raspberries for a little plan that I have coming up. And this, this is supposed to be something that you have when you've got people around for cocktails or drinks or something. My tip, keep this for yourself. It's just too good to share. So good. I'm not going to tell you how quickly I finished this entire pot, but finish it I did, and I don't regret it for a second. We had good weather, so we went off to Suffolk Food Hall to look at their plants, but didn't see any that we liked from there. But there is another garden centre nearby, so we stopped there on the way back and we got some stocks because I do love stocks. The smell is fantastic. But this is what I was really after, the Lily of the Valley. My dream is to have a swathe of Lily of the Valley in the garden. I would love that so much. One of my favourite fragrances is Dearissimo by Christian Dior, which is Lily of the Valley. It's so lovely. And they're just a lovely flower. So delicate and yet so tough, really, because they should come back year after year. So fingers crossed. We've got them in a pot at the moment, but hopefully we can get them in the ground and they'll do well. This is Tiger, one of the neighbour's cats. He's my little friend. He comes to visit quite a lot. There's the Lily of the Valley. It won't be in this pot forever. It's just so we could see them, and then we'll plant them somewhere else and hopefully they'll come back. Tiger. He's always in the garden. He likes to use our garden as his toilet. But he's a sweet little thing. But naturally we did get a few bits from Suffolk Food Hall, and these are they. The candles they sell there are gorgeous. The small ones are 75p each, the larger ones are £1.50 each, and the colours are just lovely. They have the really pretty colours there, and the reed diffusers are so good, wild fig and grape. And I got this little jug from a local potter who supplies Suffolk Food Hall. I really like his work. This is the second piece that we've got from there. I've got no doubt I'll get some more, and I've been using it as well. A cheeky little chive and cheese straw, delicious. There's the little jug on my shelf, and yeah, I've used it already. It's money well spent. I really like that, and it looks good too, which is always a bonus. Haven't shown this little chap for a while, and here he is perched atop a few bits that I got from the range on the same day. I wonder if you can guess what I'm going to show you next. Sunshine the day before, back to normality the following day. Rain. So this is the summer wreath that I made last year, and I did vlog it, so you can always go back and see that. It was a really speedy wreath, and as you can see it's in my older style of quite busy, and I decided I wanted to make it simpler. I assumed I'd used a wreath base, but no, it's one of my homemade ones from a coat hanger that I just cover with florist tape. which is really light and speedy, and of course free, because I always have these bits kicking around. So my plan was to just strip this off, use the fern style foliage from there, and some of the roses. Not the big roses, because they're a little bit too clumsy, but these small roses, I want to reuse those. And I did buy some more, which I didn't end up using because I just reused these ones. And I got more of this, which, as you can see, is just £1. And I really, really like this. They call it gypsophila. I don't know, it's just nice. And I love this stuff. This is £1 for a bundle, and they sell out this really quickly. So I bought 2 because it's just useful and it gives a look that I really like in a wreath. Coffee and walnut cake and a cup of tea, and I was ready to get on with my task. So once I'd removed the flowers from my old base and the fern, I put that to one side. I will reuse that in something else another time. And brilliantly, I did wire the flowers and the ferns last year when I made the older wreath, which is good. I couldn't remember. I thought I'd glued them in place, so I didn't need to use the new pack. So yeah, everything's wired and ready to go, and that just makes my task a whole lot quicker and easier. And this bundle of flowers is wired, so you just snip them apart and you can cut them down further, and you don't need to do anything with them other than that. Keep them as long as you want or cut them down. It's perfect, and for £1 that's such good value. And I really like this stuff because when it's on a wreath and it gets caught by a breeze, it just moves and it looks really real. I think it's fantastic actually. The label said £3.99, the receipt said £2.99, so really good value for these bases, and they're so easy to use. I start off by making a loop so I have something to hang the wreath with, and then it's just a case of pushing in your foliage and flowers. When I'm doing it in this style, the simpler style, I do it either side and work towards the centre. So I stopped the time lapse so you can see exactly why I do time lapse making the wreath, because I tend to chuck my scissors and pliers down quite loudly, and it's not exactly time consuming, but it's a bit tedious to watch actually, somebody making a wreath, because there's a bit of fiddling about. And that's it. That it really is that simple. It's nothing more than a case of pushing flowers in between the vines of that base. And I've deliberately kept it light and delicate because that's what I like to see now. And I considered that done. The flowers are in there kind of slightly off centre. The foliage looks leggy and a little bit wild, the way that foliage does in the garden in the middle of summer. I kept the smaller flowers, not anything too big, just to keep it really delicate looking. And then all I had left to do was fashion a bow of sorts from this rope, and then done. ready to put up on the front door at the start of June. You might look at this and say, well, isn't that almost exactly the same as the one you made for spring? And the answer is kind of, yeah, but no. And you can tell that they are related, if you will, because I've made them both and used similar flowers and the same base in each. But I've done a side by side so you can see that yes, they are similar, but they are different. And I cut here because trying to attach that to the wreath wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, so I had to stop and think. There it is, I've hung it on the front door so you can see it, and there is the current spring wreath. And yes, you can tell the same person's made both, but they are different. What are you on about? They're totally different. Clearly summer, clearly spring. Baby birds live in this house now, so I tried to get close enough to record it one morning this week, but they were very quiet, so I gave up and I looked at my peonies instead. And then I realised that above the sound of traffic I could hear an angry bird. It took me a while to work it out, but I realised that Tiger the cat was about and he was on the wall. And he was looking up at the bird box, so I chased him away and then I put 2 pot plants on the wall so that it's not so easy for him to get close. So the little bird knew that I'd seen it and I was helping. That's the last time I've got that close to the bird box. I don't want to scare anybody away, but I'm keeping an eye out for cats. They're not going to get those birds, nope. A week has passed already, so these are the fresh flowers for this week. Mainly pink roses, a few bruised petals, but never mind. I'm using a lot of foliage from the garden at the moment, and so for this kitchen arrangement I'm just going to change those white roses, and I'll show you when that's done. This is my treat from Weekly Shop. Oh, I haven't bought these since Christmas, they are so good. I'm trying to pretend I hadn't eaten half the pack already. I really had, they're that good. That's the arrangement for the kitchen this week. From the garden and then shop bought pink roses. Very nice, very simple. And it's got very sunny. This is the new edition. It's not as good as the first one, I have to say. And I did want to show you these. I found these in Waitrose. These bags are 30p each. So instead of grabbing a plastic bag for your loose vegetables, you just use these. So I got 3 of them. I think that should be enough. But 30p, that's really good. So I just wanted to share that. I hadn't seen them in there before, so as far as I know they're new. So if you want to get some reusable vegetable bags, that's the place to go. I really like those. Time to arrange the previous week's flowers. Oh, those peonies were gorgeous. I got those from Sainsbury's and they've lasted really well. So summer seems to have appeared. I'm going to have to shave my legs now, aren't I? Ugh. But the garden looks green and lush, and the washing is out, and the wildlife loves it. Thank you, little bird. And right there is my garlic that I planted last year, so I need to check on that. I'm going to dig one up soon and see what it looks like. Other than garlic, a tomato plant and some basil, I haven't actually got any veggies growing yet, so I'm going to have to sort that out. And as I've been talking about Tiger quite a bit, I thought we should see more of Henry in this video. He's never far away, and he is the most adorable little cat most of the time. So if you enjoy my very ordinary life, the life of a homebody who talks about cats and supermarket snacks and apparently makes seasonal wreaths on a near daily basis, so it would seem, feel free to subscribe or like or comment. It's really nice when I find that I've got a new subscriber, because it means somebody's chosen to hit that subscribe button, and that means the world. It's really lovely, so I thank you for that. And if you want to do it and you haven't already, that would be great. And there'll be more Henry, even though he looks like a really snooty cat right here, because he's annoyed with me constantly filming him. So he's going to go off, and that's just rude. That is one rude cat. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.